Hi there and welcome. My name is Mohammed El Zayat and I will be your instructor for Management Information Systems. Throughout this course, we are going actually to explore how to work with C Sharp. We're going to learn how to program in C Sharp, and then we're going to make a Windows application later on. For this very specific lesson, since we actually beginning working with C Sharp for the first time, we're going to start up with a console applications, and then later on, or application, not S, yeah. So we're gonna actually go later on moving to Windows application, and then we're gonna work with database and connecting to databases, and then we're gonna really have a lot of fun generally. So what is exactly .NET Framework, which you actually use when you are working with C Sharp? The .NET Framework is Microsoft platform for building applications that have a visually stunning user experience, seamless and secure communication, and ability to model a range of business processes. The .NET Framework consists of the following: a common language runtime, which provides an abstraction layer over an operating system. We're gonna learn that just in a second. A base class libraries, so it's actually those are a collection of libraries and pre-built in code, which you can actually use it for common low-level programming. And development frameworks and technologies, so you have actually reusable, customizable solutions for larger programming tasks. Okay. Um, we are actually going to use C Sharp. You have actually VB.NET and you have C Sharp.NET. We are actually going for C Sharp.NET. Alright, so Microsoft released several versions of .NET frameworks. It's like 1.0, it was like in the 2000s, and then came in the 2000s. I'm not saying that it's 2000, 2000, like 2002, something like that. Microsoft began to introduce actually the .NET Framework 1.0, and then actually there was a really nice evolution of .NET Framework to 1.1, 2.0, 3.0, and then 3.5, which is the current release the current official final release of .NET Framework. There is already .NET Framework by the time of this recording. 4.0 is being actually under development. So let me go for File, New. We're gonna create a new project, console project, and for this very small app, we're gonna make an address book app. Alright, so I'm actually targeting .NET Framework here 3.5. This is actually a new feature in Visual Studio 2008, where you can actually multi-targeting. You choose which .NET Framework you're going to work with, because in the previous versions people were installing Visual Studio, let's say 2005, and then people having 2003, they install it together in order just to if they want to develop applications for .NET Framework 2.0 or 3.0, and then Microsoft made Visual Studio 2008 with a multi-targeting. So if you would like to develop application for 2.0 version .NET Framework, just you select that, and then you're gonna have, of course, changes in your applications. Tells you what's allowed to do in .NET Framework 2.0 and is not. And 3.5, as you can see here, there is already WPF, which is a very nice, stunning visual user experience, of course, set of other classes, not only UI. Which supports, of course, UI, WPF, Windows Presentation Foundation, and so on. So I'm gonna actually for Visual C Sharp, Windows, and console application, and then I'm gonna type the address book. And of course here you see the path where the location is stored. So as you see here, if you are actually a Vista user or a Windows 7 user, you're gonna be you're gonna be under users, whatever the username is, in case Mohammed is it, and documents, and then Visual Studio 2008, and then projects. If you are actually using that under Windows XP, then you're gonna have document settings, and then the username, my documents, and then Visual Studio 2008, and then the project folders. You're gonna find actually that one is created for you. So by default you say create a directory for the solution, so I'm actually checking that out. Leaving everything by default and leave the 3.5 targeting on. I'm just gonna hit OK. Now once we create a solution like this, what we get a solution, and we get a small project under it, and we have a program class. Now this program class, as you see here, you have several usings, and the namespace is actually my my project over here, and I have the static void main, which is the main entry of the program. So once you compile the application, whatever is written here in the void main function is going to be executed the first time. Okay. I advise you really to leave everything is the same. Do not touch this part. I mean, do not. I advise you just, you know, like a personal preference, just leave the program class as it is. Do not rename it. And just when you want to do something in the console, or you want to do any program or do anything, you just keep inside the void main, at least for now, for the console applications. Later on, we're gonna see it's a completely different case in the forms, in Windows Forms. All right. Now, in order to develop this address book application, we have to be a bit organized in terms of modularizing or breaking out our application into several modules or into several layers. Now, in the world of software engineering, and you have already a software engineering course, so I'm not actually gonna say software engineering here. The part where it actually goes with the software engineering, you have something which is called the part which is actually called designing patterns, right? So when you are actually making an application, you have several ways to solve the problem. You have MVCs, which is actually the model view controller solving a way of solving the problem. You have other several, of course, patterns which are quite famous. Just refer this to books and references online, just to seek out for other solutions online. But we're gonna stick right now with an MVC, which is a model view controller. Now, what does it mean, a model view controller? And let me just try to run Paint over here. So MS Paint. There you go. Actually, model view controller suggests that you break your applications. Like, let me find a square over here. Do we have a square or like any kind of different shapes? Alright, doesn't matter. So generally you have something like oh, here you go. Here's shape. Sorry. So you have a model here, and you have a view, and you have a controller. So it will be really easier that you remember it like this. So let me pick up a pen. So model, view, and controller. So if I say that this M is my model, this part of the application, it stores actually your classes. So we can call it like our business model, our business background. Alright, so where all your classes go. So if I have an address book, so I can store actually their address book. I actually store their contacts. Alright, so you have several address books, and you have contacts, you have classes to create contacts, and so on and so forth. So we have here our classes. Excuse me, I'm using that in the mouse, so it's quite awkward. Anyway, the view is actually where the user is interacting with the user interface. So we can say that this is the part where it goes, the UI. Alright, and the controller, where actually your application taking out everything and just headed to the hard drive, or it's actually the part where it communicates with the database. So let's say this is the part where it communicates with the database. So I'm gonna actually keep it easy, because there's also a lot of sub-layers of sub-models and so on, especially also here you could have sub-service layers and so on. So I'm gonna actually keep it right now simple, so you can understand it like that. Here, where you can actually create all the objects just flying away in the memory. Here the user can actually modify the objects which are flying in the memory, and here where everything which is flying in the memory just being hit back to the hard drive to be stored, so you can actually use it later on, because it's gonna be meaningless of creating the address book over and over and over again without having it stored. I believe it's quite logical. Alright, so we're gonna keep actually this kind of structure for now, for this current address book. So let me minimize this. Now, in order just to create another layer, or another like business layer or a model, first of all, as you see here, and I believe most of you already have guessed it out, and it's quite logical, that this void main program is, or this void main function, or this part of the class, is our user interface, because whatever actually which happens here, we can actually like modulize it and tell that the user interface is gonna happen here, since actually the void main is there. Okay, now I'm gonna actually go to the solution. Since this is gonna be my UI, I'm gonna here go to the solution, right click, and I'm gonna hit add, and I'm gonna get a new project. And instead of choosing a console application, since this is actually my user interface, I don't want that. I'm going to choose class library. Now, a class library, you're actually creating a small DLL, class paper classes. Now, the class library, I'm going to call it like business. Let's hope that I will not make a mistake in the spelling, and hit OK. And right now in the business layer, automatically has been created a public class 1. Now I'm going to change that to contact. Now a small brief, it's actually asking to rename all the references, also rename in the code. I'm going to hit yes. Also just a brief how can I say, info about our app, what it does exactly. Now let me just run Notepad over here and type that out. So our actually we're gonna have two types of contacts stored in our address book. Now, first of all, of course, we have an address book, which is quite logical. All right, we have two types of contacts. We have generally a contact, a normal contact, any contact should contain a nickname, first name, last name, or family. Let it be, keep it easy, family name. All right, let me just space that out. Phone, and you have email. All right, now a personal contact gonna have the same exact thing, but additionally above it is gonna be the birth date. So birth date. Professional contact is gonna be having additionally a company name, let's say. Oops, sorry, here you go, company name. Alright, so let me just tab those guys over a bit, so like it's gonna be like, you know, different type. Let's go to the functionality, what exactly I can do with my address book. So to do, okay, so I can add contacts, I can remove a contact, I can, and I, by the way, I remove a contact by a nickname, so remove contact by nickname. Alright, I can search by nickname, search for a contact by nickname. I can actually search by here you go, sorry, by family name. Okay, I believe this is going to be quite enough. And of course, yes, print everything. So print the print on the screen, of course, the address book, like a report, or if you would like to see all your addresses inside your address book, for instance, like, or your contacts, I mean, inside your address book. Alright, this application is gonna be really nice and gonna be really tweaked, and you're gonna be really proud of, because we're gonna use special data structures. We're gonna try our best in order just to make it really good, that even you can use it in your real life. And actually, we're gonna stop at the console application at that point. I mean, once this application is gonna be finished, it's gonna be finished as a console application. Feel free, and I would like really to see contributions over the forum, if you would like to push this even further and work and make this an actual Windows application. And I'm really gonna be very interested in your visions, or how you can actually make out a Windows application. But of course, that after, when you learn Windows application, how to make a Windows application. For you who is actually know how to make Windows applications, just feel free to post your contributions on the forums, and of course under the category of MIS, as Management Information System subject, and I'm just waiting you there. By the way, every day I'm in the forums waiting for you. If you are stuck somewhere, I'm going to also initiate some certain topics in programming and C#, so I would really like to see you out there performing or making some contributions. It will be really nice. Alright, so we have what to do generally, so we know our target. Now I made a contact class. Now let me go further and create the members. Now a new feature of C Sharp's, I believe since C Sharp 3.0 or 2.0, it was introduced the automatic properties. Oh, it was 3.0. Well, anyway, it was introduced the automatic properties. Now, for people who worked in C++ before, and people who are working in Java, for instance, they have something which is called accessors. So if I say like private string, let's say nickname, okay, people were doing always like this. So public void, oh, it was like set or set nickname, and then you pass actually like string, and then you say just string nickname 1, let's say, for instance, just to make it a bit different, because so you're gonna just make it a lot easier. And then you say, okay, this dot nickname equals to nickname 1. This is actually this way of self-programming. This is called accessors. Okay, here's the semicolon, and it's still valid. I mean, you can use it, of course, not a problem. But to be honest, you shouldn't use that, especially even if you are working in C Sharp. You have something which is called properties. Now, properties are really very interesting way of working in programming. For instance, if I save this, when I actually trying to access the contacts, usually, let me just type the code here. If you are trying to, for example, if you create a new object of contact, cont equal to new contact, let's say, alright, and if you say here, alright, I would like to access the contact nickname, so I say dot, and then you say set of nickname, and then between the brackets you're gonna just type in whatever nickname you like. Alright, so this is how it actually works if you are using accessors. But in properties it's completely different. So I'm gonna erase this. First time properties will appear like that. You know, you have an underscore here, and then you create actually a property or an encapsulator by just having like public. Oops, here you go. Public. Because when you are having a property, it should be a public, so you can access it. It will be like meaningless if you have it private, well, unless you have some certain cases in software engineering, which I will not actually discuss here. So public string nickname, alright, and then I'm gonna open a small brackets over here, curly brackets, of course I'm using it all the time, and as you may notice, I don't do that actually. I don't put this semicolon because it doesn't exist in C Sharp. You are actually not in C++ anymore. And you have actually like set, and then you actually put like this dot nickname equals to value. Alright, so this is actually how it goes. Semicolon, I believe I have to put, and then get, and then you actually return this dot nickname. Probably I made a mistake actually out there when I was putting a semicolon. Let me see. Yeah, I believe it's right now. Alright, so this is actually how properties were. Oh, probably I made, well, it's okay. Generally I'm just I'm just actually trying to present something here. Generally it was something like that. So you have this, the nickname equals to value, and return this nickname. Well, you don't have to do this anymore. You just can just type that like that. Oops, sorry, I erased everything. There is something which is called automated properties. So you actually put their public string, and of course I'm gonna erase this part, and I'm gonna erase the semicolon also, and I'm gonna put here curly brackets, and I'm gonna say get and set. Alright, so this is actually a substitute for your, as you saw over the history a couple of seconds ago, you had accessors right now, and then you have evolved to properties, which is like you have a bigger code. Now I have even a much more compact code where you get and set. And of course, if you erase one of those, you have like, if you erase this, you're gonna have read only. If you have erased this, you're gonna have only write only. Okay. So let's go even further. Let's push it further. So right now we have public nickname. So we have public string. What else? So we have a first name, family name, phone, and email. All right. So first name, and then I'm gonna have a get and set. And since I'm really lazy programmer, I'm gonna just copy that over and over again. Well, it's good to be lazy, trust me, it's not that bad. I mean, in terms of programming. Family name, but I'm not saying that you shouldn't program, you should program, but don't do that repetitive job over and over again. Phone, and if you notice here, I'm actually using phone as a string, which is quite logical since it is actually not going to be a calculated field. You already, I believe, studied that in a database. You don't need to put, you don't need to make a numeric field for a certain part of an application unless it's actually calculatable. Okay, so we have here our contacts. Now, to be honest with you, currently we have a constructor. Okay, this is actually automatically built in. We don't need actually to make a destructor, because in C# and .NET Framework they introduced actually a garbage collector, like which you see also if you are studying Java. You have also a garbage collector there. So once you lose the reference of the object, it immediately the .NET Framework immediately just goes and erases, or the garbage collector, sorry about that, a garbage collector actually goes and erases that part of the reserved memory. So you don't have at all a memory leakage in your application. So once you actually close your application, you don't even need to worry about that. Oh, I didn't destruct that that object. Oh, I have to manage that object to destroy before I leave, because if I lose the reference. No, you just have a garbage collector who just takes care of everything. Okay. A very important thing here to know: all classes in C#, all of them, even the one which you create, all of them, they inherit from a very giant Papa class, which is called the object class. Okay, this object class has a specific methods and has well, actually a couple methods which you can actually see in any object which you create. Like if I go here to the program, first of all, let me show you how to create actually a reference to your business, since actually this is if you look to the business layer, and I'm pointing here with my hands, sorry for that, here you go with the mouse, this is the business layer, and this is the address book, whereas the UI layer lies in. Now this one, both of them, they don't see each other. Actually this little guy, he should see that business layer. So how can we do this? Well, in C# you have to do the following. Go to the references. Actually, I'm going to demonstrate to you about the object class in a second. Go to references, right click, add a reference, and if you go to the projects tab, so you have .NET, I don't want to click that because it's going to take a really long time to load. Projects, browse. If you browse actually for other DLLs located in somewhere else in your PC and recent files which you use, I'm going to actually use projects since it's actually inside here, and it's, as you see here, it's business, and as you may see here, it's showing you the location of my business layer. So I'm gonna hit OK. I'm just double click it. Alright, this is the first step. The second step, oops, sorry, let me just try to, there you go, using, alright, using, there you go, and I'm gonna say using business. So I'm using this namespace. By the way, if I hit Control Space, just gonna make an autocomplete. All right. Right now, if I say contact cont equals to new contact, okay, and if I say cont dot, now if you look here, there are some stuff which I didn't program. You see, there is also some functions equals, get hash code, get type, to string. All of those functions I didn't actually put them in, and as you see here, here you go. There's no function there, only just my properties, which you actually can see here. So these functions came for me from came actually from the object class. You see here, here you go. Here's object.equals. So since actually every class in the world in .NET, all of them, they inherit from the object class. If I just say an array list, or yeah, just array add equal to new array, or whatever it is, or let it be array list, will be easier, or list, since I didn't actually import the collections class, which we're going to import in a second. If I make this is actually generics right now, but I'm actually trying to make a point here. Oops. So new probably I made a mistake here, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Oh, list, and I have to give it, of course, cont list, sorry, I forgot the name, equals to new, that guy, and if I say cont list, despite whatever you see, you're gonna have somewhere in the list, here you go, get hash code from the object class, get type from the object class, and somewhere in the bottom, way bottom, you're gonna have the toString. There you go, here's the toString. So right now you believe me, everything in C# inherits from the object class. None of them actually doesn't inherit. Everybody inherits from the object class, alright? So let me just erase, this is gonna be meaningless, but before I just go about the properties which I wanted to show you, if I had cont.nickname, I will not say .set or something like that. I just say .nickname and then I hit equal. Oops, my God, here you go. Then I'm just gonna say Mohammed, for instance, or something like that. Here you go. Okay, this is how you actually work with properties. Right now you set the member of the class like that. If you want to get it, just like whatever you want to do, like cont2, let's say, .nickname, I'm not gonna create it here for you, but just to make a point here, gonna equal to that, for instance, something like that. There you go, just put the semicolon. Of course here an error because I didn't create cont2, but this is how you access. Right now you actually set and there you actually get, so you're actually getting the stuff from here and you put it in there. Alright, so this is how it works. Let me just erase that and go back to our context. Now by software engineering rules, you have to create two types of constructors. You have to get a default constructor, which is of course public, the class name, which is going to be contact, and then it's going to be default. But of course when you are making a default constructor, never leave it empty, because it's really bad practice. You never do that. Alright, right now I'm gonna have a nickname, so I could actually just go and say this dot nickname equals to null. You have to nullify everyone. This is actually by the rules of software engineering, so try to keep on that. Equals to null, and this dot family name equals to null, and this dot phone. By the way, this I believe you probably saw it in C++, and if it is not, that means that I'm talking, when I say this, it means this is the current object. This is the current object of this class. So this is the major idea. Email equal to null. All right. So let me have a look over here. So email, phone, first, family. Okay, nice. I got everyone. In order to pass a string, sorry, let me make another constructor. So I'm gonna have nickname, and as you see here, it's quite the same. But let me tell you one thing: it's not gonna harm, because I can say this nickname equals to that nickname, which you're gonna see in a second how it works. String first name, and for the organization's sake I will not go like that. I could actually just hit the comma and go for a new line. Family name, did I put the string there? No. Comma, string phone, comma, string email. Okay, we got them all in place. Right now I can just say this dot, alright, nickname's gonna equal to nickname. So sorry for this, kind of boring, I know, but you have to do this. Equals to, of course there is a lot of features of family name. That's the guy. Okay, I even could, well, okay, it doesn't matter, I'll just leave it different. There's of course code refactoring and all those stuff, but I'm not gonna bother with it right now. Did I put the family name? Yes, I did. Who comes next? Ooh, I actually, okay, first name, no I didn't. Sorry for that. First name actually, and family name equals to family name. Here you go. And this dot phone equals to phone. Alright, and this dot, what else, dot email equals to email. Okay, and the semicolon, of course. Now, as you see here, when I say this dot nickname, I'm referring to this. But when I put this nickname, I'm going to refer to that little guy. So here's how, of course, it could be confusing, but okay, if you would like, you can actually go for all small letters, like F, E, P, sorry, not O. Here you go, F. But of course, by rules, you have to put this big N, big N, big N. Here you go, email, phone. Okay, I'm right. I'm okay. Control V. This is the first name, family name, and the phone and the email. All right. So here you go. So we will not actually. So we erase all the confusion. This is actually your constructors. Now you could actually have a very nice. There's a nice feature of commenting or documenting your project, which I really heavily advise you to do, because people are just writing the application. After just 1 week, they don't know what the heck did they wrote because they were so smart at that time, and then right now when they look at it, oh, the smart guy who actually wrote this application. So instead of asking you a lot of questions yourself, I mean, you could actually write like a summary or comment. So here you go, actually you can actually type the summary here. So I say full constructor for a contact, for instance, and then you say here the nickname of the contact, and you go so on and so forth. Actually, I'm not gonna do it here right now because I'm gonna be forced really to write everything, which I really don't want to currently. But here I advise you to do here this actually. It's a summary for every property, because sometimes you forget what properties are standing for. Right now it's quite clear, but in a larger applications where you have, for example, like 10 or 15 or 20 properties of a single class, and you really don't know what exactly, or you cannot remember what exactly that property was doing, it's a really advice to document it like that. You just have 3 forward class slashes, and then automatically it's going to generate for you the summary. Alright? That's so much for a single class. Now, a very important thing. Now, in order to create a contact, I believe this is quite enough for the contact class. So we have the constructors, the 2 constructors we have all the properties are on. Let us create a new contact and test it. So contact equals to, okay, new contact. I love organization. Oh, here you go. Have a look at this. Now, as you see here, if I had actually put the summary, it will actually generate a huge description here, you know, like all the stuff, what this actually constructor does. And as you see here, I got one of 2 constructors, so it means that I have 2 constructors available. There is one, which is the default one, just you have 2 brackets, empty brackets, and you don't have to set anything, but all the objects are null. And if you hit down, you can actually get all the whole actually constructor over here, like string nickname, string first name, family name, and so on and so forth. Okay, so I'm going actually for the default one, because I'm not gonna set every single one there. So I can say contact dot nickname is equal, let's say, there you go, I'm quite a fan of myself. Contact dot phone, let's say, is gonna equal 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Here you go, the 10. Of course, I will put my real phone number. Huh. Next, if I would like actually to see that on the screen, I could just say console.write line. This is actually how you print something on the screen. And as you see here, there's it's a static function where you can actually access really a lot of variations of this functions. Here you go, I'm just keeping hitting down, 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 you know, and you have a lot of variations of, or a lot of overloads for this function. Let me try to just put contact over here, and let's see what's gonna happen. Okay, I'm just gonna debug, start without debugging. Give it a second, and what do you see here? Business.contact. Well, actually not that what I expected, but alright, let me hit continue. Let me try actually to say, okay, I'm gonna go for it, guys. Sorry, I'm gonna put the toString function. There you go. From the object class. Let me try to start without debugging again. And as you see here, I also got business.contact. This actually means that the toString function, whether you wrote it there or not, is gonna actually work is going to be called automatically anyway once you put it inside the console.write line. But the problem still is I actually cannot see anything. I mean, this is completely useless. Business.contact. Where's my contact? Well, you have actually the object class never knows actually how is your classes which you are inheriting from it's gonna look like. I mean, if you want to make it, if you know, like print it over the screen, it doesn't know how the contact, what are the contact class are or is. So what you have to do, you have to override that function. Alright, so this is the basics right now of inheritance. You can actually override your functions which you inherited from the other classes. Let's say, for example, the basic idea or the basic concept of inheritance is if you are, for example, like your dad or your relative or whoever it is, he owned a company and you have actually inherited that company from him, and then you begin actually, you have the same department, the same building, but you just let it say, okay, I'm gonna change some strategies in that department, so you are overriding some functions of that department. It is exactly the same here. By the way, the working in object-oriented programming is really so near to our real life, and you're gonna see that in a second with polymorphism even. So here I could actually like try to see override. So override to string. As you see here, like I'm inheriting everything from object class, so it offers me what functions to override from that object class. I have the equals, get hash code, and the toString. What really matters for me, the toString function. And once I hit enter, it just automatically completes it for me. So I'm not actually gonna return the base toString. I'm not actually gonna call the implementation of the toString in the function class. Instead, I'm gonna just return this. And return, I'm gonna like, you know, put nickname equals to, or let's be like, alright, equals to, and then I'm gonna concatenate strings, alright? So I'm gonna put here plus, and this dot nickname. Right now I'm accessing the property, as you see. If you used accessors, actually in Java, probably it's a nice idea to access it through the accessors, which are the functions. Do not access the properties of the class right away. Plus, and of course I could actually like add a \n or /n. Let's hope that I didn't actually make a mistake by. I always actually mix them up with the slashes, but I believe I'm right there. First name, okay, just I'm gonna put that here. First name, equals to, or I could actually just put the colons, much nicer, user friendly. This dot first name, because it looks like mathematician stuff, which is not. N. There you go. Plus. Or I could even put the plus here. I really love organizing my code because it's really useful later on in the readability part. Okay, so once you begin reading it, it's really very important to organize your code so you can read it later on. Did I put the family name? No. Family name. Oh boy, I didn't put the space out there. I'm really like, here you go. Family name equal this. Guys who are really bored in this, just skip that part of the video, but really it's inevitable. Alright. \n plus, there you go, it's gonna be easy. Phone, oh boy, even my mistakes there also, plus this dot phone plus /n. Okay, and we get an email. Alright, email plus this dot email, and probably this is it. I could actually even put a \n once it gives me like press any key to continue. I don't want to have it in the same line. Okay. Okay, right now I made an override to my function. I just said return that single string. Of course I just formatted in such a way that it's gonna be like everything. Okay, so I believe it's quite easy and quite straightforward. You have a function which returns a string which you override a couple seconds ago. This is how I actually override any function in C sharp, not only to the object class, any function you want. Okay, now let me go to the program and I'll keep this the same. Okay, and I'm just gonna hit start without debugging. And as far as you see here, I was really nice and I made a mistake with the with the forward. Actually should have been the reverse one. Sorry about that, people. Okay, let me try to get that one. Let me see. Here you go. So it was that little guy here too, and that one, and that one. There you go. Now let me just start without debugging again. And here's nice and neat. You get the name, nickname, of course, Mohammed, and of course since they were null, so they're gonna be like nothing, nothing, phone, and nothing, and then press any key to continue. So we really did a nice job there. Well, I believe it's gonna be nice to stop here in this lesson, and then I'm gonna begin continuing the next lesson, creating the other two classes and polishing out the contacts, the other contacts classes, and override them to string. All right. So then I believe then it's gonna be enough for now. See you in the next lesson, then, people.